Imagine a beautiful, ancient European city that looks like the 18th century never ended, with cobbled lanes and majestic old Baroque palaces, statues everywhere, fountains, gardens, a brooding castle on the hill, a river crossed by historic footbridge and with no automobiles in the center to shatter the time warp illusion. This must be Prague. Capital of the Czech Republic, Prague is one of the most picturesque and interesting cities in Europe. It is one of the few major historic places on the continent that was not damaged by either world wars, and so the well-preserved buildings that you see are the real thing, not a reconstruction or some tourist bureau fantasy. And the city has taken such great pride in this architecture that they have maintained it perfectly. There is nothing run down or broken here in the heart of Prague's old town. Everything looks like it was just painted yesterday. Prague prospered as the capital of the powerful province of Bohemia. During the 14th century, it became the continent's largest city after Paris, with the first university in Central Europe that was started in 1348. It had a thriving economy that supported cultural developments of great style and quality. However, religious wars in the 15th and 17th centuries created great turmoil, and somehow Prague continued to grow in wealth and power. For 3 centuries, it was an integral part of the Habsburg Empire, second only to Vienna in importance. Austrian nobility, with their elaborate Baroque tastes, built up Prague and left behind many wonderful treasures. Today, the palaces that line the main square and side alleys of the old town display this entire historic span, with their Baroque facades, Gothic interiors, and ancient Romanesque cellars. Not much has changed during the past 200 years, resulting in one of the largest collections of well-preserved old buildings in Europe. Modernization was thankfully limited to the graceful innovations of Art Nouveau at the beginning of the 20th century, found in dozens of elegant buildings around the center. Economic stagnation under the communists following the Second World War was unfortunate for the people living there in the Czech society, but fortuitously, it preserved the old buildings by default since there was no money to knock them down and build anything new. As a result, this city is a jewel intact, a time capsule glistening with castles, palaces, medieval old town neighborhoods, and many fascinating sights that offer a glimpse of the past. This city of 100 spires will impress you with its soaring churches and lavish Baroque palaces. Its lively squares and avenues give the city a festive atmosphere which few can rival. Saletna and Na Prikop. They are both primarily for pedestrians, and they're lined with shops, bars, and restaurants, so you could spend several hours this afternoon right here strolling up and down. Saletna has some of the oldest buildings in town, its Gothic structures embellished with elaborate Baroque facades. The old town, dating from the 13th century, is on the eastern side of the Vltava River, while the lesser quarter, also called Mala Strana, is across the river with many more Baroque palaces and quiet cobble lanes. Above it all, dominating the entire city, is Radkani Castle, formerly the residence of the kings of Bohemia, and now headquarters for the President of the Czech Republic, and a major tourist magnet. Everybody must go to the castle when you come to Prague. The country changed radically in November 1989, immediately after the Berlin Wall fell, with the student-led Velvet Revolution that created a democratic, free economy overnight. By December, Václav Havel was elected president and led the country for over a decade. The city of 1.2 million has preserved its past yet has eagerly joined the modern world as it throws off centuries of suppression. Prague has emerged from behind the Iron Curtain into a tourist destination equaling the great capitals of Europe. Prague is rapidly becoming a center of the arts for the entire region, with some similarities to Paris in the 1920s. A new kind of left-bank bohemian attitude is developing in many of its creative souls, and this presents many interesting facets to the visitor, from new galleries to street performers to expanded museums. Prague is now welcoming visitors as never before. The economic revolution has led to great improvements in the physical condition of the city. For most of the monuments and historic buildings have been fully renovated and cleaned up to perfection. And yet, Central Europe has not yet been fully discovered by tourists, so while it can get a bit crowded during the peak season, there are ways to avoid being caught in the crush, such as exploring some of the out-of-the-way neighborhoods and traveling during May or September rather than the peak of midsummer. A golden moment in time has opened up for the enlightened traveler. About 2 miles across, central Prague can be thoroughly explored on foot in 3 days or less if you're in a hurry, with the occasional journey by tram to speed things along. Here's the largest outdoor street market in town. It goes for several blocks. It's very impressive. You can't miss it. It's just about 2 blocks south of the main town square. The market has a wide variety of goods for sale, including some produce, so locals shop here also. A short walk to Charles Bridge can then take us across the river to the Mala Strana and Kampa Island. Well, here is proof that Kampa really is an island, because it's bordered on one side by a little canal and on the other side by the river.
It's called even Little Venice because all the houses on the left side looks like in Italy.
You can pass under the bridge through a magical arch that will then lead you to Kampa Island, a most peaceful place.
So this is Kampa Island. It was in fact built at the time of the 16th century. Now it's in fact the most luxurious area of Prague, with the most expensive apartments here. For example, rich Czech actors live here, something like Beverly Hills. There's this channel as well with watermills. There are the restaurants down there that way. It's a nice park as well, so you can spend a nice time.
It's an island surrounded by the river and a canal, and it's a very exclusive part of town. And you can really spend some time on Kampa Island walking around its different little alleyways and bridges and different views of its canals. It's fantastic here. From Kampa Island you get a great view of the Charles Bridge and the old town with its towers and domes. Boats going by on the Vltava River as well. Oh, it's a great spot. You've got to take a walk on Kampa Island. Kampa is not far away. It's just a 4-minute walk from Charles Bridge. You'll notice the canal running along to the right side with cute waterfront houses. It's refreshing to be out of the city for a moment as you stroll through the lawns and under a canopy of trees, listening to birds chirping. There's undoubtedly people in the park, maybe tossing frisbees, small kids, dogs running around. There's an old water wheel that still turns on the side of an abandoned mill, which is your signal to cross the little bridge over Devil's Creek.
You can find a Lennon wall there, with a picture of John Lennon in the middle and with other paintings. This was from 1980, after the death of John Lennon. People just put his portrait on the wall. There are some graffitis there as well. To find the John Lennon wall, you just walk through that Kampa Square and take a right, cross a little bridge, cross the canal by the water wheel, and you'll come across this very poignant collection of paintings and a statue of John Lennon. It began many years ago as a simple painted face on a wall with some graffiti that quickly grew and became a landmark in the city, surrounded by hundreds and hundreds of graffiti tributes.
And his immortal thought, imagine. And then afterwards, take a stroll across the Charles Bridge and continue on to the Old Town Square. If you'd like to experience more of Prague, you'll just have to go there and see it for yourself because we have run out of time. Hope you enjoyed our in-depth look at this beautiful city, the capital of the Czech Republic. Now perhaps you can fully understand why it's a favorite of so many travelers. We have many more programs about Prague and the rest of Europe. Look for them in our collection. We frequently upload new movies, so please subscribe to our channel and click that little alarm bell so you'll be notified. And if you enjoyed the movie, how about a thumbs up? And we always welcome comments down below. Or if you have questions about the destination, make note and we'll answer them. Thanks for watching.